Welcome, councillors. I'd like to declare this meeting open at 3:10. We have a record of attendance here, no apologies, and no leave of absence. No. Any declarations of interest? Any financial declarations?
Through the Chair, I'd just like to declare for item 12.1, which is a confidential item, that I do have a financial interest associated with that item.
Thank you. Paper is done. Submitted. Any other financial interests, councillors? No. Do we have a declaration of interest for closely associated persons and impartiality? No. Any declarations of proximity? No. We've got no response to public question time. There's no public questions. No petitions, deputations, presentations or submissions. Any applications of leave of absence for our next meeting in June? No. There's no announcements by myself, so we'll go straight on to item 9, confirmation of minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of April. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Foss. Do I have a seconder? Thanks, Councillor Waite. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10, matters for decision. Item 10.1, manager works. There is none. No report. Item 10.2, the manager of strategic business development. Ms Schilling. Item 10.2.1, community grant applications.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a part of the Shire of Bruce Rock's annual community grant program, local community organisations were invited to submit applications for funding support. We received 4 applications this year. They were from the Bruce Rock Amateur Swimming Club, the Bruce Rock Community Resource Centre, the Bruce Rock Golf Club and the Bruce Rock Pony Club. Each application was provided as an attachment, also a table outlining the details of each project and how they align strategically with our strategic plan. I also have made a recommendation there on top of recommending our 4 applications that Council consider a second round in September. We received just over $3,500 worth of applications. Normally this number's up around $10,000 to $20,000, so just something for Council to consider.
All right, we do have a recommendation. Does anyone need any clarification at all? Otherwise, we have a recommendation, or someone else may move something different.
Happy to move.
Happy to move. So, moving both, Councillor Strange, that we approve all the following projects and we endorse the second round.
Agree.
Agree. Do we have a seconder?
Yes.
All those in favour? Everyone in favour, Kevin? Yep. Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10.2. Thank you, Ms Schilling, by the way. Item 10.3. Manager of Finance. Welcome, Mr Darby. Take a seat.
Thank you. Afternoon.
Move straight on to item 10.3.1, the schedule of accounts paid.
The schedule of accounts paid is as presented there. If anybody has any questions.
Questions? Otherwise, do I have a mover and a seconder to accept the accounts paid as presented? Thank you, Councillor Crooks. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Hoot. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10.3.2, monthly financial reports. Mr Darby.
Thank you. The reports you'd all have in front of you. There's a few things highlighted in the actual agenda item. With the surplus at 632,000. Rates received to date 95.3%. Probably close to 95.5% now. A little bit more has come in since the end of the month. Still actively working to collect what is outstanding. Obviously there's deferred for about $15,000 that there is a small amount of interest that the department pay on that. The current amount of the 90+ day debtors, there's actually been a development on that where the big chunk of the main roads money was incorrectly invoiced. It's only come to light in the last few days. An invoice was raised for approximately $60,000 when it should have only been $20,000. This is dates back to last financial year. So I've been working with the consultant on that, which obviously is going to have a knock-on effect, unfortunately.
Do you have any questions or queries, councillors? No? Otherwise, we do have a recommendation. Someone willing to move the financial report? Thank you, Councillor Strange. Thank you, Councillor Foss. All those in favour? Thank you, it's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Day.
Thank you.
Item 10.4, the regulatory services, there are none. Item 10.5, the Manager of Governance and Community Services. Ms. Ugarte, item 10.5.1, Governance of Council Committees.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a result of changes made to the Local Government Act, local governments are required to appoint presiding and deputy presiding members for their committees. In preparing the report to Council on this topic, we noticed that the membership of the Health and Aged Care Committee didn't quite comply with legislative requirements. Under the Local Government Act, committees must have at least 3 members in it, and our committee has just 2, so there's a recommendation to Council to increase the membership of that committee by 1 representative. And we also noticed that Council has 2 subcommittees. The Act does not recognize the subcommittees as entities or advisory bodies to Council. The way these subcommittees appear to have been operating has been in a more casual way than a committee of Council, and they seem to be more working groups rather than committees. And we are proposing that, recommending to Council that these subcommittees be renamed as working groups or committees of Council, depending on what intent councils have in relation to the operation of these groups. So yes, that's in essence the recommendations that we have for you.
So just clarification, so you're talking about also making the health and aged care into a working group, or?
So the Health and Aged Care Committee is known as a committee.
Yeah.
So I guess this is also an opportunity for Council to consider or review its working groups and committees and decide what status each of those should have.
Any questions, councillors?
Through the chair, just one question or correction. Works and services, I'm a member of that one.
Yes, and you're not there? Oh, my apologies.
That's fine.
That's an oversight.
That
So-
has happened before. I came in mid-term,
I know.
so that's probably why it's not there.
Yes, I've even noted as
Oh.
previous item numbers, the one where you were appointed to the committee and then I missed it in the list, sorry for that.
So I guess the two main decisions are to find or to nominate another member for the Health and Aged Committee, and to decide if our Sport and Rec and Economic Development become working groups as
Yes,
such for functionality, I guess.
and through the chair, council also has to nominate presiding members and deputy presiding members for intercommittees, so that would include the Audit and Risk Committee and the Health and Aged Care Committee and the Works and Services Committee.
And as of next tax year,
So
the
has
Audit and
has
Risk will
done-
become an independent.
Sorry? No, so as of by the 1st of July 2025, this council must nominate these roles for each of the committees. And then going forward, once certain provisions of the Local Government Amendment Act come into force, then we will have, council will have 6 months to then
For an
appoint an
independent chair.
independent chair and deputy chair for the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee. But there's still some time for that. The requirement right now is by 1 July to nominate
And the-
presiding and deputy presiding
And just the
members.
clarification, the difference between a working group and a subcommittee.
It is, the concern that we raise is that a committee is recognized in the Local Government Act, and there are some governance requirements under the Act for the operation of committees. By naming a group as subcommittee, it is not clear whether the same governance arrangements apply to these groups or not. So just to avoid any confusion, we are suggesting that if the intent of these groups is to operate as an informal group providing advice to council without having more strict governance arrangements, then the recommendation would be to call them working groups to avoid any confusion with the requirements under the legislation.
Well, I think those two, the Sport and Rec and Economic Development, have worked functionally as a working group in the past anyway. So, all right, we have some recommendations, councillors. One, we have a recommendation from the officer. One is that we increase the membership of the Health and Aged Care Committee. Two, that we clarify the status of the Sport and Rec Subcommittee and Economic Development Committee, Subcommittee, where they become working groups. And then we need to appoint a presiding member for the committees of the Audit and Risk, Health and Aged Care and the Works and Services Committee. So,
We will be, through the chair, we'll be identifying who that presiding member is as part of
as
this,
part of that
as
motion.
part of this recommendation, so that needs to be determined before passing the motion.
All right, so we'll go through the three committees then. So, Audit and Risk Committee, the presiding member currently is myself. Does anyone have a problem with me being the presiding member?
It has to be independent.
No,
Not yet.
no, not at the
At the
moment.
moment,
Sure,
Not at the
but
moment.
will.
But
Yeah.
will be, as from the 1st of July, we have 6 months to meet the provisions of that.
That's it, right, potentially till the end of the year. We've got to find.
To the 1st of July, did you say?
To the 1st of July.
Through
2 months.
Through the
No.
chair. No, the provision requiring the Audit and Risk and Improvement, it's going to be renamed, committee to have an independent presiding member and deputy presiding member, there's no requirement as yet because the provisions of the Local Government Amendment Act that require that to be in place have not come into force.
Mm.
So once those provisions come into force,
On the
then
1st of
council
July.
has 6
6 months.
months to
Thank
look
you.
for someone.
Through the chair, so do we need to really discuss this now?
Yeah. So basically, need to decide a chair, a presiding member for the Audit and Risk Committee, which at the moment is myself.
Through the chair, in accordance with the amendment regulations, we still have a requirement to reconfirm who the presiding members are, which is a little bit unusual, I know, but that's a requirement that we have to
So we'll
undertake.
go through each of the committees, so Audit and Risk Committee. So at the moment it's myself, and I'm happy to continue on being presiding member if council's
Yeah,
happy with that.
certainly nominate our president and deputy president as
Deputy
deputy
President, yep.
chair.
So we need to Move and second each one. Yes, I'll move it. Councillor Strange, seconder. Councillor Hodgkiss, all those in favour? Thank you, it's unanimous. The Health and Aged Committee, at the moment it's myself and Councillor Bahout. So we have one, we need to nominate another member, and two, we'll need to nominate a presiding and a deputy member. At the moment I'm the presiding member, I assume. So who would like to nominate for this wonderful committee? Subcommittee, sorry.
Chair, I'm happy to.
Yep.
Might be a tie-up with Siaka going forward with this group. Bearing in mind I may miss, depending on when meeting dates are, and
Yep.
this does include the independent living units
Yeah.
meetings,
Good time, and
which I may not attend all of them.
Thank you, Councillor Strange. And as a presiding member, myself, I'm happy to be presiding member, and Councillor Crooks, be deputy. No. Councillor Crooks. We've got Councillor Bahout because of her experience on the committee.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Do I have a nominator and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Waite, seconder. Thanks, Councillor Hodges. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. And then Works and Servicer, we have Councillor Foss at the moment is the current presiding member, and we don't have a deputy at the moment. So I'm assuming Councillor Crooks might want to be the deputy presiding member.
I'm happy with it.
If Councillor Foss is happy to continue to be. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Bahout, seconder. Thanks, Councillor Waite. All those in favour? Thank you. And then...
Now we go to this.
Yeah, all right. So we've got a motion on the table that we increase the membership of the Health and Aged Care Committee by one, which we have done. That we have clarified, we're going to need to clarify the status of the Sport and Rec Subcommittee and Economic Development Committee Subcommittee to informal working groups or total committees. And I would, from our feedback, I think we'll be looking at a working group. If everyone's happy with that, we'll put that into the motion, and then we have appointed the presiding members as stated previously. So would someone like to move that motion, and someone like to second that motion, or suggest an alternative motion? Councillor Boot, you're moving that. Thank you. Seconder. Thanks, Councillor Frost. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10.5.2. Shire of Corrigan's request to appoint dual fire control officers.
Thank you, Mr. President. As has been the case in previous years, the CEO of the Shire of Corrigan has written to our CEO requesting that two people be appointed as dual fire control officers in the Shire of Bruce Rock for the 2025-26 bushfire season. In the past, Council has approved this request for Mr. Jacobs and Mr. George to be dual fire control officers. So on that basis, it is recommended that they be appointed as such. But as has been done in the past, it is important that it be clarified that Mr. Sandor and Mr. George will not be able to issue permits, burning permits within the Shire of Bruce Rock in the roles as dual fire control officers. And it is also recommended that our CEO write back to the CEO of Corrigan to advise of Council's decision.
All right.
Just that it's Mr. Jacobs, not Mr. Sando.
Oh, sorry, yes, sorry.
In
Correction,
item
yes.
2 and 3, it's, yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
Apologies.
Thank you, Councillor Crooks. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, through the chair. I think the first time we did this, it was suggested that the Joint Fire Control Officers from Corrigan were required to attend our BFAC meetings in Bruce Rock, and that's not happened at all. And I'm not sure whether that's they're not getting the invites or if they're just not coming.
They were definitely invited to the last one, but neither of them could make it.
Right.
So,
We'll look into that. Thank you, Councillor Hotchkiss. Otherwise, if no further queries, we do have a recommendation. We have a recommendation that we appoint Mr. Sandow and Mr. George as dual control fire officers, and that we do not permit Mr. Sandow and Mr. George to issue burning permits, and that we authorise the Chief Executive Officer to write to the Chief Executive Officer of the Shire of Corrigan to advise of our resolution. So if someone would like to move that motion. Thank you, Councillor Foss. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Crooks. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10.5.3, prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a result of recent changes to the Industrial Relations Act, employers have greater obligations in relation to ensuring that no sexual harassment occurs in the workplace. And the legislative changes have also introduced the vicarious liability on the part to the Shire, to the employer. So in response to that, the administration team felt that it was important to strengthen our policies in that area, and we are presenting a proposed policy on the prevention on sexual harassment in the workplace that meets the requirements of the legislative changes.
Any questions, queries for Mr. Ugarte? Otherwise, we do have a recommendation that we adopt policy 4.5, prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace policy. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Hotchkiss. A seconder. Thanks, Councillor Strange. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 10.6, 10.6.1, Mr. Fur, superannuation contributions for elected members.
Thank you, Mr. President. Superannuation contributions for elected members. This is an item that has been discussed previously through information sessions, and the implications and the opportunities that exist with regard to this change. Just to summarise that it is compulsory for Class 1 and 2 local governments to apply superannuation payments to elected members for their ordinary time earnings associated with meeting attendance fees and annual allowances for President and Deputy President or Mayor or Deputy Mayor alike. For local governments Class 3 and 4, of which Bruce Rock falls into that category, it is an optional opportunity. The Council is being requested to accept the recommendation that it resolves to pay superannuation contributions to elected members, but also on the understanding that if any individual elected member wishes to opt out of this particular process, they can do so by informing the administration. If adopted, the implications of this is that these superannuation payments would be made from the 1st of February 2025, and there are no policy implications associated. The financial implications associated with this, when you consider the minimum and the maximum rates, as we've discussed in the information session, the implication is between $1,402 and $6,415, the $6,000 figure being associated with the maximum fees that we're discussing. But relevant figure for this is 1,402 is the financial implications, and the recommendations is again about elected members resolving to pay superannuation contributions, and if in doing so the administration will require your details in writing, as well as if the third point is about elected members can opt out, but again it would require written confirmation to the administration. And also I would just summarise by saying that that elected members, not necessarily, the administration is not in a position to provide financial advice to elected members as part of that process. So I'm taking the report as read, and if there is any questions I'm happy to take them.
I will clarify a little bit, is if we go by last year's payments to councillors, 12% would work out about $3,500 if you worked out our council, rather than, because that's got a band there, but if you worked out what we, last year's, that's if everybody took our superannuation, but that's the impact would be for our council currently. But again, it's you don't have to take it, this is just giving the opportunity for anybody that wants to take it to take it. That's what we're voting on. And obviously for future councillors that might one day put their hand up. So we do have a recommendation.
Chair, I've got a
Question? Yep.
probably a point of clarification. Probably feel we all need to declare an interest almost,
Yep.
reading through this, but the first part, that the pay superannuation contribution to elected members in relation to meeting fees and the Shire President, Deputy Shire President allowances only. And then does it clarify other elected members through that? In the 5 points.
The points here is that the superannuation is related to the meeting attendance fees and the annual allowances for President, Deputy President.
And the annual allowances, sorry. It's the way I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, no, it's so superannuation is applied to the annual allowances, so that would include the allowances associated with deputy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
I'm certainly happy to move it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Strange. Do we have a seconder? Thanks, Councillor Waite. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. Item 11, there's no new urgent business. Item 12, we have a confidential item. Someone like to close the session? Thank you, Councillor Foss. Seconder, thanks, Councillor Waite. All those in favour? Thank you. I did not vote because thanks, Councillor Crooks, for putting us behind open doors again. Thank you. And thanks, Councillor Strange. All those in favour? Thank you. So we have a recommendation that we formally confirm the satisfactory completion of the CEO's 6-month probation period, that we endorse the continuation of the current CEO's key performance indicators through to October 25, and that we authorise the Shire President to investigate and come back to Council, hopefully 3 independent reviewers, to undertake this Chief Executive Officer's annual performance review and review of his KPIs in October 2025. So all those in favour? Thank you. And the mover was Councillor Crooks and Councillor Strange, just to confirm. Thank you.